So, time to talk about the Tau again. Um, as you can see, look, it's all the battle suits because bigger is better. Um, well, probably not bigger is better, but it is what it is, right? These guys are here. This is what Games Workshop has decided is what we need is more big stuff. I don't really agree, but whatever. Um, so I'm gonna go through and look at options for the Tau. But I wanted to talk about a comment that Warmark left. Hopefully I said that right. And it's a good one. I think. So let's bust that up. All right. So here's what Warmark had to say. Now I'm going to read it in case you can't see it, because God knows. Yeah. So let's go up to the top. So this was talking about the first video I did looking about going through Army Builder. And I want to talk about a couple things. So 1750 and 1850 points. Okay. I I think that if having something else at 250 points added into your game makes your game take too long because it adds another 40 dice, maybe there's a problem. So talking about just the army builder stuff. Great, I don't have to run a contingent headquarters. I didn't read that right. I thought it was optional, but I guess it's not. The auxiliary aren't. I don't know if I'd say it was a lot of points. Just whatever. So the game obviously has changed. So I've been reading through some of the rules because honestly, oh, they're they're mind numbing. So um, most of the flyers are for everyone, as far as I'm concerned, are bad because they are not normalized. So I mentioned this before, but if you look at Team Yankee, or really any game that has things that fly and things that don't, um, and wants to have people actually buy the things that don't, without having to buy huge fucking shit, um, they will normalize them so that in some way, now it doesn't mean homogenize. Sorry, I'm terrible at pronouncing that word. No, homogenization, still terrible, is bad for the game, for any game. Um, Normalization is not necessarily bad. Um, if you make something that's worth 100 points in your game, and then you have something else that's worth 200 points, most people would make the leap that the thing that's worth 200 points is worth double the 100 point thing and is twice as effective in some way than the 100 point item, right? Now, um, there are other things you have to consider, like the rest of the army that you're building. Um, I don't know. I would say that the rest of the army that you're building or you're using, your base, your foundation, needs to not be junk, right? And it normally is junk. And that's part of the problem that Games Workshop has is they go, well, everything that you used to own from effectively second edition through fifth edition, first edition didn't exist. Just pretending it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. So, Necromunda, no thanks. Or as everybody knows it now, Combat Patrol. Uh, just without any flavor, factionalization is kind of meh. It's better, I guess, than Necromunda was, but it's still just I can't do it. 400-point games or whatever, just no. So if the air support's bad, right? I just take it because I I want air support. I want to see what air power can do. If you spend 250 points on an aircraft, or sorry, 200 points on an aircraft, and it's okay, and then somebody else spends 100 points on an aircraft, and it absolutely can blow up your 200-point aircraft, that's bad. If you have a rock paper scissor kind of system where you go air kills ground, like air support and artillery support destroy ground units unless they're infantry. Tanks don't like artillery firing at them. Infantry don't either, but if you dig in, you can at least have a chance to survive it. Earthworks is and digging is a really good way to make artillery go away. Now, granted, this is in the 41st millennium, so you would think that somebody had good technology in some way to go around corners and drop smart bomblets into trenches or holes that are dug for people, and kill everybody in them. But this is not what it actually exists. So we're all pretending like everything, people actually fire rockets from handheld rocket launchers because somebody says so, I guess. Like, all right, sure, you're firing rockets at infantry. It's not smart rockets, but yeah, whatever. So, Games Workshop doesn't have that. They have you can have whatever you want, and if it's not something big, it's gonna suck. Okay, that's just paper and scissors. There's no rock paper scissors. Um, Now, as you saw, you mentioned I I left when I figured out from contacts inside Games Workshop that competitive 40K was dead. They were done with it. And I said, okay. Um, um, if a unit is destroyable by another unit, but it's half the cost, does that mean it's that one of those units is overpowered or the other one's bad? No, not necessarily, right? And it could be a ground unit. It could be whatever. Um, if the other guy is shooting at something and he can't actually stop, that's the right way to put it. If he can't stop it, that leads to people being frustrated and irritated, and that's bad. And that's something that a lot of people don't really understand at Games Workshop is why wouldn't somebody want this big gorgeous model like the one I was showing you? I think the Riptides look kind of stupid myself, but whatever. They look better than the next version, which are the old Defiler style lazy ass shit that they made, where it's a box on top of two legs and it has a gun on the side. And it's just like, boy, is that bad looking. Um, so having like the differentiation between Tau and Orcs. Um, Orcs could have been built properly. They were not. But most of the armies that Games Workshop puts out had not been built properly for a very long time. And I had an argument with Mike from Nova about the Chaos Codex that they put out, where he said it was internally balanced against itself. Um, the it's a fallacy to say that that's a thing, right? It's really not. It's not a thing. So inside a codex, if you say this unit costs 10 and it can kill this unit that costs 6, and or say 5, and you need 2 of the 5s to kill a 10, sure, that's balanced. But where's the formula that decides this is something that's worth money? This is something that costs this many points. It produces this kind of statistic. Where's the formula that puts that together? Well, it's pulled out of the designer's ass, and that results in units that you only take that break the rules, right? So there's the main rule book. It says this is the way things are, and you look at it on its face and you go, oh, that's not terrible. And then you look at everything else that you do, everything else that you look at, and you go, here's these guys that break the rules, are really resilient, put out tons of firepower, and they might cost $150, but that's okay because why not? They can cost that. It's not going to hurt anybody's feelings if the entire game system, like the whole game world seems to have been caught up with this whole pay to win mechanic. Um, pull as much money out as you can before your system collapses. Video games have it, like Rift, Hearthstone. They're very pay to win. Um, card games, like, they are literally pay to win. I'm sorry, you can't play with those little plastic or covered pieces of cardboard anymore because you're not allowed to use those anymore because there's a new edition, and that'll be $1,800, please. Okay, cool. And until people figure out what's worth what, and then it can go up to thousands of dollars because these particular cards are are really awesome. Um, except if you want to have people playing your game, you need to have more people. Like, you want to get as many people as you can. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean you need to appeal to everyone. Okay. And a lot of people think like, oh, we just need to appeal to everyone. It's like, no. If you don't want to appeal to a competitive player, you lose a lot of people. If what you're trying to do is appeal to 9-year-olds and their parents and have a family game that you can play together, okay. Well, maybe there's only war shouldn't be your motto, right? Dark future shouldn't be your motto. Um, the Spanish Inquisition background shouldn't be your motto, right? And oh yeah, you should actually run events and actually support the community that you want to pay you money for your models. Not apparently for your rules, but for your models. Um, so now the reason that I'm talking about all this is it does relate directly to the Tau, but it's to every codex really. Um, they still want you to buy the old stuff. Okay, the stuff that I bought and that I enjoyed. Um, I wouldn't say it looked like a real army. I wouldn't say it even was a real army. I would just say it was what it was, right? It was a tabletop game and you could play with other people and it had a good social aspect and it was relatively fun and decently competitive. It wasn't perfect, um, but it was good until they said, we want you to buy this other stuff and we're going to make it so insanely powerful. You have two choices: quit or buy it, right? I don't have any problem spending, you know, thousands of dollars on this stupid game. Now, that doesn't mean that I should be asked to pay that or that kids and their parents are going to pay it. Um, when people have their face in uh, computers or in their phones, mostly in their phones, right? Or their Xbox One, their PlayStation 4, whatever, their PS4, it's just if they want to run a handheld version of that, and Nintendo's going to come out with their 6-year-old game technology, but it's going to have a little handheld thing. Okay, cool. People want to play that. You can do the same thing on your phone, right? Um, and people have started to figure out there seem to be a lot of money grabs, right? Of just get as much money as you can and then disappear. Don't be a game company anymore. Just get what you can and get out. Um, so when I look at things like the Tau, um, there's big doofuses, and then there's what actually was a Tau army, 5 years ago. Um, and that had a look to it that I liked, right? Little crisis suits and some vehicles flying around, blocking line of sight to the crisis suits. Um, I like that, and they haven't changed the points of that. Okay, like a well-equipped crisis suit is still 42 points. I don't get it. I don't understand. So, of course, the shoot them down with mass infantry thing. Yes, I get it. Um, what I don't understand is, you know, why you would make people do that. Why don't you just say it's this is the Titan version of the game? If you play over this many points, you have to buy a Titan, right? It's really or a Titan formation. I mean, I don't give a shit. This is your stupid ass box set you want us to buy. This package deal of I get two monstrous creature Titan things, and I also get some stupid ass troop choice that goes with them. Okay, I can get behind that. But when you say, oh, you can make any choice you want, all of this stuff is crap. All the stuff that you used to have is crap, and then all of most of the line is actually crap. And then here's this really uber formation that you can just take and just make it your core and just be like whatever. When he says you can get a very useful core for this many points, right? Now I'm going to look at that, but I would say it's useful in the sense that it's so ineffective and it's so low on the threat list that a lot of times the rare times that I see people actually playing games of 40k, I'll see like 2 or 3 infantry units in some kind of transport in reserve, praying, I guess, that they can come on late and take an objective. But they often only play 2 or 3 turns because everybody's so goddamn scared to do it. Like, oh my god, if I move anywhere, I will get shot to death. And I might not even have an army after turn 1. And the people that Games Workshop says that they're selling to are modelers, right? We're just a model company. But the casual players, they contribute a large portion, right? Games Workshop can say the competitive players don't contribute a large portion of money. And apparently they don't talk to their distributors, okay, who actually talk to their stores and actually have relationships with those stores because, stores are evil. The internet doesn't exist. These are all Games Workshop policies that they're only starting now to reverse. I wouldn't say for altruistic purposes. I wouldn't say someone who actually plays the game is now in charge of Games Workshop or has a competitive spirit is in charge or actually gives a shit about customer service. No. The board of directors is not a good one. They don't know what they're doing. They're like the people leading privateer press. They're just flailing around hoping that if they give you enough OP models at a high enough price that look good enough, you'll buy them. All right, yeah, I guess that's a plan. And the Tau have these big stupid things. Like, I don't really like the Riptide look. It's it's a big crisis suit. It's like somebody went in to their 3D modeler and said, you know what? Let's stretch the crisis suit model. Let's increase it, 10 times the size, and then ta-da! Let's flush that out, and there you go. That's what you get, And it's just like, not very original. And in response to that, Games Workshop came out with the next one. I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head. Uh, let's see. I've got this up. Sorry, I have to actually look. I'd have to look at this stupid thing. Heavy sport. Nope. Formation. I always forget. I'm like, which one do I want again? It's like, oh yeah. Um, so the storm surge, right? What he's talking about. Sorry, I was looking at Army Builder, but what he was talking about is the storm surge, the KV-128. Um, it is a doofus model, right? So that's their response is, oh, you don't like how we just upsized the crisis suit into a bigger crisis suit, a super crisis suit with options. Okay, here. Have a have a turret with a big gun stuck on the side and some stubby little arms with missile launchers on the end, and enjoy the bathtub, because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like something you send to the bottom of the ocean. Okay, we're safe inside here. There's 4 foot space inside, and then outside there's 2 feet of steel. That's what it looks like to me. Bathysphere, I think is what it's called. Anyway, it's been a while since I was all into Jacques Cousteau. So I I don't know what Games Workshop is planning to do with the 8th edition. I haven't asked, okay, because they know my opinion on all this stuff. They know I don't care. Us Yankees just don't know any better, and they know better. They're falling sales, despite increasing prices. 100 to 300%. They obviously they know better. They've shrunk their user base drastically. Their player base is incredibly small now. Um, and the funny thing is, it's a lot of people who consider themselves competitive. I don't consider them competitive because they're playing in a game that is inherently not competitive, can't be competitive. Um, but there's a lot of people who think, oh, I'm competitive because I win events or I go to lots of events, and Frontline Gaming says that I am. And then there's other people who go, well, I don't go to that. I go to pure 40K events, and people comp stuff, and it's like, dude, comp has been going on for 20 years because Games Workshop sucks at writing rules. The whole time I played 40K, people go, could you not run that? Could you not run that, please? It's like, oh, well, it's in the rules. Oh, yeah, but I won't play you. it's like, oh, you won't play me. Okay. So, yeah. So this is a good point that he brings up, and it is a tax, but I wanted to point out that it's a money tax. Okay. And long ago, I have no idea. Like I look at 40K stuff and my eyes just blur when I'm in the store, and it's like whatever, because all I have to do is ask what the price is and go, wow, really? That's $120. Wow, that's cool. Um, they still sell you, Battle Force shit, where they go, here's a dreadnought, here's 5 Terminators, here's 10 Marines, and a Rhino. But you can't use the Rhino, and unless you're gonna have a whole bunch of dreads or something, you're not gonna really use the dread because they just die, and they don't contribute enough for their points. So if it's just a battle of big versus big, and everything else is just a con, a tax. Well, I guess I could call it a tax. I call it a con. Um, if I want to sell you a car and it's a Lamborghini, so it's going to be expensive, but it's going to be a really good car. Um, and then I tell you where you live, nowhere, North Dakota, doesn't have a Lamborghini shop within 200 miles. So and nobody's going to know how to fix your car very well. Okay, you're not going to be able to get the parts. Whether it's street legal or not, it's up to you really. You can make them be street legal. You can make them not be street legal. Usually they're street legal, but you could get a different one, and it might not be allowed in North Dakota. Who the hell knows? Or you could be stupid and do things to it to make it not be actually street legal, or you could buy one that's actually not street legal. Those are generally far more expensive, and you're unlikely to buy those. But hey, if you have $20 million, by all means, buy a fucking race car. Buy a Lamborghini race car. They're definitely not street legal. So, but if I was going to sell you that, and I said, if you want to own that, here's what you got to do. And you go, what? You have to buy 3 Toyota Camrys. I do? Yes. And if you want to drive your Lamborghini, okay, you have to have your wife and your father and your mother each drive in one of those Camrys. How fast would you tell that person to fuck themselves? And it's not that you can't afford the Camrys. If you can afford a Lamborghini, you can afford a Camry, right? A business world doesn't work that way. The real world doesn't work that way. When they go, oh, you want to do that, you have to do that. But in miniatures, they can do it. Now, unfortunately, they've done it at a point where you have stuff that's useless. Just like, oh yeah, I could buy this thing that this one. Where did he write it? The devilfish doesn't exist anymore because it doesn't have any fucking guns on it. It's got strength 5 shit. Okay, well, when somebody can fire 50 strength 7 shots at you, you're not going to have a vehicle left, right? The tide wall, where you could line up a whole bunch of guys and move it towards them, I guess, and shoot. It's like as cheesy as it could possibly be. It's some bullshit, probably watercast, because tide wall. It's probably watercast. I haven't bothered to read it. I don't really care, but it's a building that you can move as long as you don't touch terrain or come within an inch of the enemy, and your guys that are on it can move with it. Okay. The stuff that you would bring can move and shoot. That is that if it's on the tide wall, like your fire warriors or crude, I guess. And you get a save, and there's all this fun stuff. But why would I want that? I don't care what it costs. The monstrous creatures provide better firepower. The crisis suits provide better firepower. So does it have like guns on it or something? Like, does it come with for every squad that mounts on it, for no points you get 2 seeker missiles? Just assigned to the tide wall, and you can just shoot with a guy, and you just pop them off when you're done. You model them and you pop them off. And or turn them around, or whatever. Why not do that? Seeker missiles are crap, I think, but maybe they could be good. Have a fucking bunch of marker drones going around lighting stuff up, and then you could fire off seeker missiles, because Tau apparently need to have a laser designation on something before their missiles will work. I don't know. They fly by wires. it's too advanced for the most advanced, or second advanced. Is Eldar first and they're second? I think that's something like that. Like the Eldar are first and they're second, and Necrons, I guess, would be third because they're intelligent machines, but they're not really intelligent machines. I don't even know where the fucking fluff is anymore. They were originally souls, from their Lobi people, but they all became stupid when they got turned into machines. I don't know. So, though I really would think that Tyranids would be the most advanced, because they do technology with body parts. So, hey, cool, bioengineering. Sorry, I always think of the Necrons as Borg, and was that species 8472? Is that right? Fuck, I should look it up. But anyway, it's the Voyager series. The bio ships would blow the shit out of the Borg. Like, that's what I think of when I think of the Tyranids. And then, of course, they land on the planet and are just like, nah, well, we dumped 10 million things on you, and there's only 500 of you, and you kill all but 3 of us, and then we spawn everybody back up, and we absorb you, and very Starship Trooper, except the Starship Troopers always get their ass kicked, because in reality, if Tyranids actually really did show up, they really would probably destroy your planet. Anyway, Sorry, I've looked at some of the campaigns and just kind of laughed at myself, like, you guys are not so smart. These campaigns appear to have been written by a child. So, um, so anyway, so looking through what Games Workshop has done, I'm just like, look, there's no point to bringing most things that you own as Tau, because they'll just get wiped out. So it's kind of like, I guess I could have somebody put a strength D template on me and slow the game down, or just shoot me directly with it, and just take guys out left and right. I guess that could be a thing. I could do that, but I don't think that that's something that most people want to do when they're buying the tax, when they're buying the Toyota Camry, so they can own a Lamborghini because people in charge say so. You need to do that. Just like, really? No. Um. So talking about stuff like objective secured. Yeah, my idea long time ago that troops deny non-troops. Oh, hey, I'm glad they listened. So unfortunately, they wouldn't listen to all of my ideas, but that's okay. There's things coming that will make them sad face, I guess. So kill points are of course are bad. But in a competitive environment, right? You go, how many units did I kill? Um, you get up there with a minimum army, so I'll just say like 2 Titans. That's your army plus whatever else you can fit in. Your kill points are pretty low. So as long as you stay on the table and you end up in game 5 of a tournament and you're playing against the guy you got to beat to advance or to win the whole thing, right? Or game 7 or game 9 or game 12, whatever, doesn't matter. You then have that need to survive, but you also, you make it to the end and you go, oh, look, this one's the kill point mission. And you're facing an MSU style army. And you just clap your arms with glee and hope that they can't take you out, because if your army survives, you go, okay, well, I got one guy left and you killed 4 kill points worth of my stuff and I killed 28 kill points worth of your shit. Hey, I win, right? That's a bad objective, right? You should be able to say, this is my army, this is my win condition for my army. And if you're going to build an army like that, you would go, kill points are always my win condition, right? People go, well, how could that be if the other guy's playing an MSU army? And it's like, oh, well, the MSU army's win condition, excuse me, is taking all the objectives, right? Or holding your own and taking one of the enemies, right? Whatever. And you assign different win values based on how many of those you've taken. Okay. So Flames of War is very, like up and down, right? And they go, you've taken one objective from the enemy and you held it during your turn, and they didn't get something within 4 inches, I think is what it is. It might be 6, but I think it's 4 inches. So they're not contesting it. Congratulations, you win, right? Has to be non-broken, of course. But you just go, no, I took your headquarters that you put there, and you don't have one of mine, so or well, you couldn't really have one of mine. It's at the end of your turn. You go, okay, I'm done. You go, and then the start of my next turn, I go, I win because you haven't shot me off, you haven't broken me, and you haven't got something in range to contest it. That's why fast tanks are helpful. So all that said, you could make a system like that could work, where you go, this is my army and this is the win condition I want to pursue. You don't have to force it on players, right? And if one is easier than all the rest, okay, you set the threshold higher. You go, oh, you're playing this many points. This is how many units you need to kill, right? Now, of course, you have to think, well, what happens if they don't have that? You do percentage rounding up, right? So let's say some assholes decided I'm going to run 2 Death Stars in a headquarters, so I have 3 kill points. I'm saying I don't even know it's possible. It's not the point. Then you go, okay, no matter what you do, I need to kill 66% of your kill points. Okay, you need to kill 2 out of 3, right? And that's my best win condition. I get a overwhelming victory, not just a victory, but an overwhelming victory if I kill 100% of your kill points, or like 83.6% or more of your kill points, right? And you just would round up and go, oh, well, if I the only way to get that would be if I actually killed all of your entire army. Okay, so I'm gonna go and build an army builder after I finish talking about a couple more things. So basically, based on this, right? I just want to cover this stuff because I don't really agree with this. I don't think it's really useful. I think it's shit, but you take it to win, right? Okay. So this, I think you could replace Tau in this sentence, this one right here, with or sorry, in this sentence you could replace Tau with Space Marines, Eldar, Tyranids, anything. It doesn't matter. Okay. And whatever this might be, big things. That's what you replace it with. Oh yeah, replace the strength of the insert codex here with big ass shit that costs money, and win. Like that's not hard to figure out, you know. So I looked at the stomp thing and I was kind of like, that's stupid. It's a really bad rule. And this is true, okay. Except I think that the troops are worthless. Okay, well, I could take that make them BS5 instead of BS3 and mobile, or I could just buy one of those stupid ass tie walls and put them on it, and they're mobile and they're enhanced by the tide wall, in other ways, and they're my troops. They're not strong, but hey, if you want to run over your invisible, you only hit me on 6s bullshit Death Star, okay, you want to run that over and kill them, fine. But everything scores, remember? Okay, well, all of the stuff that I have, all the rest of the army is those big stupid things. Okay, and I'm going to kill your shit. And Tau can definitely deal with the invisibility ball. So I'm saying that they're not least preferable among the marker light sources. It's just among the choices you have to take. It's like, well, I have to take 3 units of stupid, or I could take 3 units that makes everything in the army better. And if I'm taking a bunch of crisis suits, and I'm taking a bunch of monstrous creatures, or either or, if I have to take something, fine, I'll take that, right? So, um, so let's go down to this. So crisis suit's still around because I want to finish talking about all this, and then I want to go through and build stuff. So, great, Commander Farsight, goofy ass model. I'm sure he's still I got a power weapon and it's a demon or whatever the fuck the fluff was on that. I found it, man. I found it inside that orc when I killed him with my pulse rifle or my whatever the fuck he's got. Probably a fusion blaster or the plasma rifle. I think it was a plasma rifle. Anyway, so don't call it a book. Call it a PDF upgrade pay to win guide, right? That's what Warzone Monka is. So, so you can take a retaliation cadre as a core choice instead of the hunter, and take things like the Piranha Firestream Drone Net and the ubiquitous Riptide Wings. Um, so where's the choice in this, right? No, let's not ignore the fact that it's boring to play. um, I don't think that's very fun, right? And uh, I don't think that's fun at all, right? And there are ways to fix this. This right here. How fun it is to see that. I don't think it's that fun to see that. Um, Now I necessarily haven't really watched that. I just watched a tournament player versus another tournament player. um, the first one was playing something like that, and the second one was playing orcs. And it, there wasn't much of an orc army left. And I was kind of like, oh, now I didn't realize what was going on. I was just like, oh, big stupid ass riptides. Like I recognized the model. Um, and I was like, oh, yeah, I had 6 of them. I was like, all right. Um, yeah, it took a long time. I went to the store to do my thing, look around, see what people are playing, and they were actually having a tournament, so it was a rare thing. And I was unimpressed with the fact that I was there, I chatted, a friend showed up, I talked to her, and I went and bought stuff, took it out to my truck, came back in to get some more stuff, and I stopped by the table and I saw most of the Orc Army was dead, and I thought maybe 40K had improved in some way, right? And that things were much faster. And I was like, wow, what turn is this? Turn 1. Oh, whose turn is it? Tile player. Wait, I came in here at like 1 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock now. You're still going? Like, yeah, like, wow. So, now, this is something that I'll deal with in some other things. This is just kind of sad, right? The free stuff is bad. Free stuff is a bad idea. Um, the way psychic powers work is still stupid. It's just stupid. So, yeah. So the grav gun thing is kind of funny. Um, yeah. I just don't know what to say, about this. That the cycle of death that you have to go through. Um, because that's just a sign of an unbalanced game is it's paper beats scissors, which beats paper, which beats scissors, which beats paper, which beats scissors. Except it's not. It should be rock beating scissors. But no, it's paper beating scissors. And then scissors beats paper, right? So as soon as you introduce super heavies, um, you've jumped the shark, right? It's a television term. Um, so basically, you're no longer in reality, right? And you're doing crazy shit for ratings. So this is doing crazy shit for sales. Okay. And it lasted through 6th edition. And their sales went up and they thought they were onto something. Hey, we're selling the models. It's like, no, you were destroying your market base. Your player base was shrinking. You didn't realize it. People bought your stuff and then they stopped buying and they left. Like at the end of 5th edition. Like when I did, mentioned at the top there. So the events continue to be smaller, right? Maybe people have forgotten that, a few years ago, Adepticon was running multiple 250, whatever, 40K tournaments, and now they're not. The reason they're not is because the player base has shrunk. So imagine if you have 3 casual players for every person who goes to a local GT. right? Or sorry, a local rogue trader, so a local RTT. Um, how many of those people, what is it, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15, actually goes to a tournament? So I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Like okay, so every store has a tournament goer. Well, there's like 7 or 8 stores, like miniature stores, that you could play 40K at in fucking Utah, right? Only a couple of them actually run any kind of tournaments anymore. Most don't. There's no money in it. Uh, when the business side says there's no money in it, I'm not supporting your game. Why don't you fuck off? I got some Magic players coming in. There's a couple stores like that's basically what they tell you is, yeah, I can't help you. And it's like, oh, but I bought this here. Yeah, but the game company you bought that from has no loyalty to us, and in fact hates us. Despite needing us to sell here in the States, they hate them, right? And you're just like, oh, okay. And then you go into a soulless Games Workshop store and you're like, where do I sit? Instead of like a GameStop, right? Where there's no place to sit. Just like the bigger fuck you I've never seen. Like it's like a game store in my mind is a store you go in and sit. So you don't get tournaments, but that's the way that it used to be. Is you'd have like 3 or 4 people to one person showing up for a tournament. Now you might have regulars, and then you'd have people who would just come in and play, and they would not play in tournaments, right? That's not what they wanted. They wanted to be able to have a battle force. Okay. Everybody else was doing, MSU, and then it slowly became Death Stars and Super Heavies and anti-super heavies and, an imaginary, like Psychic Power Overload, imaginary stuff. Um, so, and now you have monster creatures that just kind of go, all right, yeah, you shot me, but I don't care. Maybe I can feel no pain. Like, oh, damn, it's gargantuan. That's pretty bad. Can't just remove it. Got to actually hurt it. So, um, anyway, so let's say you have 3 or 4 to every one. So we'll just say 3, right? 3 to every one person, and then you have a 16-person RTT. That's what's that? 48 people. So 48 casuals, 16 competitive, and of those 16 competitive players in your store, like these are people that regularly play at your store, right? One person goes to a tournament, like to a grand tournament, right? So in Utah, that's what's that? 8 people. I'm one of them. I don't do it anymore, right? And then think about that. Go from 500 people to 180 people, right? That's what Adepticon did last year. It was like 189 maybe. Anyway, so we'll say 190. We'll round up. So are you telling me that 360 people, twice as many as we had before? Is that right? I better do, because it's late. Better do math. So 256 times 2 is 512. Minus 190 is 322. Okay, so we'll just say 320. So you're telling me that 320 people don't go? Do people think that Games Workshop has provided a consistent gameplay experience sufficiently to draw casuals in? Okay, let's illustrate a point. Casual players often have the gray armies. Okay, they're off playing X-Wing and Magic, right? Everything comes pre-painted. Don't have to do anything. I'm just saying, the casuals are the ones that didn't want to paint. When you say, if you want to play in this tournament, you have to have a painted army, that's why half of them didn't play. It's not because people are assholes or competitive. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm not saying that's not true. What I'm saying is, half of them said, fuck that. I'm never painting my shit. And then people go, oh, you're not going to paint. Okay. Well, if you're not going to fucking paint, then, I guess, fuck you. Don't play in our tournament. Definitely don't go to a grand tournament. I went to a grand tournament and I played somebody with an unpainted army. And I told him, I said, I'm going to blow your shit up. Okay, some kid from DACA. I said, "This is who I am. I'm just going to annihilate your army, and good luck." But even if I didn't think I could do that, I'm not an asshole enough that I would say you can't play that stuff. I want to have fun. Okay, and in the end, I don't really care. It's not painted, right? It's like whatever. um, but by the rules of most of those tournaments, you're not allowed to play those unpainted armies. They go, no, you're not allowed to, because that's part of the Games Workshop theme. Except Games Workshop isn't even providing real support anymore, and they haven't for years. You show me where Games Workshop has $100,000 budget to run 5 tournaments, $20,000 each, excluding Vegas, where it's like $40,000. Okay, to run a major event, and give out prizes and shit. No, oh, where are they at? Where's that money at? Oh, it got paid to Tom Kirby. Sorry, that money doesn't exist. So, so all of this is just sad, right? That's true. And it's like, oh, well, why is that a good thing, right? For Games Workshop, I think it's a bad thing, right? um, yeah. Well, and I would, oh well, I didn't actually realize that would tie into my story, but that's funny, is like, oh yeah, well, it's a Riptide Wing, so you're dead. So, as I've shown sometimes when I'm playing MechWarrior Online or World of Tanks, these are both pay-to-win games. Okay, I have pay to win in them. I don't enjoy playing. I could play World of Tanks a little bit, but then the inherent unfairness of my win or my loss bugs me, and I don't know. I have ethics, a set of moral standards, I guess, and I don't like losing because the people that I'm playing with are bots or suck or don't care. Okay, or I'm facing an organized team, right? Also, same thing can be said for MWL. But I can play individually and try to enjoy myself that way. But half the time, I just want to alt F4 the game. It's like, oh well, there's 15 players per side. Um, we lost 2 scout tanks and wiped out their entire army. They're all 15 of their tanks are dead. That's not really fun. Okay, and that's what a lot of this stuff talks about, right? Um, not being able to interact in the game is really bad. Your gameplay experience starts with you looking at the models that you want to buy and trying to figure out how to put those into your army. What if Farsight didn't exist and you have 18 crisis suits that you want to play? Sorry, 15. 17 would probably be the max in the old system, right? 3 elites and then 2 headquarters, each with 3 crisis suits. So 17 would be the max, really. But then you also have battle suits. But then, of course, you don't have points for anything. So why would you want to start playing that kind of game and then figure out, oh, I can't play the thing that I want to play as a new player. Hold on, I gotta take a drink. As a new player, you go in and you say, I really like those crisis suits, I'm going to play that. And then somebody else has the super crisis suits, the Riptides, and they fuck your shit up. And they fuck your shit up. You're not interacting anymore, right? That's how those pay to win games also feel. All right. um, if all you do is set up your figs and then remove your figs with the broom, that is, strengthy, mass shots, whatever, and you don't have a chance to do anything, how's that fun? Just tell me how that's fun. Like, that turns off casual players. Competitive players do not a competitive player is not what everybody thinks. Like, that guy's an asshole. It's like people playing in the NFL make millions of dollars. and they have fun playing that game. Now, they also have to go to the gym every day and eat a certain diet and behave. You know, don't be stupid and smoke pot because the NFL doesn't let you, right? I mean, personally, I don't give a shit. There's states next to me that are like, hey, have as much as you want. Um, you can't go and say people in the NFL don't have fun. It's like, they're smiling, they're celebrating, they're having fun. They're not getting paid more money because they scored a touchdown. Okay, they don't get a bonus. I scored a touchdown. I get $100,000. Like, nope. Now, granted, in the Super Bowl, things are different. There are things like that, you know. But everywhere else, there's not anything like that where you don't get a bonus for whatever. Okay. Most of them have been deemed illegal by well Congress because the NFL exists because Congress says you can. So inevitably the power comes from them. So we can blame them for everything wrong with the NFL, and that's why we have the grounding rules that we do now. So if you have a competitive environment, you can't say the NFL is not competitive. Now they've homogenized things, okay, really bad. And so you have some teams that are really shitty, and then the next team up, which is considered a good team, is also in actuality really shitty because the way that they've set up free agency and how much you get paid and whatnot has impacted that, and that's part of why I haven't watched the NFL for about as long as I haven't been playing 40K. I can't be bothered. It's like, okay, there's a minute of game time, and there's 5 minutes of commercials, and it's like this for 4 hours. No thanks. That's a turnoff. Um, Watching your team suck because of profit sharing and free agency and all the different things that contribute to it. Um, I didn't mind so much when there was a team that was awesome because it wasn't like in baseball where it's like, well, let's see if the Yankees are going to be in the fucking World Series. Oh, they are. I'm shocked. Hey, who's got the biggest market and the most money? Why, it's the Yankees by far. Now, granted, Moneyball changed that a bit, but you understand what I'm saying. There was not such a thing in the NFL where you could just continuously buy victories. You could get good people and reinforce that, but like Brady and Belichick, the Patriots, that you got to admit, most people, including myself, don't like them. Um, I'm an Eagles fan, from there. So they get people who can do everything. Now, I'm not saying they pay more money or they have more money. I mean, Mr. Kraft has lots of money. But what I'm saying is that they're not allowed to spend $80 million more than the lowest team in the league, right? In the smallest market. Like, they're not allowed to do that. Okay. So it's like normalized, but there's more homogenized than anything else. Um, where everybody looks the same. Except they actually go out of their way and they say, yes, you're a kicker, but you can also catch. You can also throw the ball. If you need to, you can also block. Like, they have those talents. So, when they lose multiple linebackers or multiple guys that can run the ball, multiple guys that can catch the ball, there's guys that can step up and go, I can catch the ball. I can block. Like, that's what they do. And so they are really more into normalization, right? Where it's like other teams go, I have two running backs and they're in the top 5% of the league. Okay, what happens when they both get hurt? Well, my next running back is in the bottom 30th percentile, right? He's pretty bad. Okay, then you don't have a running game. Then that's what your team's based on, and you're done, right? That's bad. The Patriots go, oh, well, we have a couple running backs that are in the 90s. And then the next guy down after that is 80. And then we look through everybody who's got the secondary role on their secret list. And you go, yeah, I've got an 80, an 80, a 70, a 70, a 70, a 70, a 70. That's where those guys would be if they were doing the running back. It's like, oh, okay. So you got 5 extra guys that if they need to, they can step up and do that. Now, the way this relates is you don't have that. Like the Patriots model is what miniature gaming should kind of aim for. Of Tau Fire Warriors have a stupid gun turret option, right? Whatever. But let's say you have like in Flames of War, you have conf grouping, and you take you have a heavy machine gun section, a mortar section, and an infantry platoon, and then another infantry platoon, and you take 2 squads from the infantry platoon and make them into their own conf group, and you take a mortar section and you take a heavy machine gun section, and that's a new platoon, a completely new unit. Those other units don't have those things anymore, and everything's attached to that conf group, and you can just it's the Death Star in Flames of War is basically what you can do. So if you had that kind of option, you go, you know what, it might be good for my Fire Warriors to be led by a Chasui, okay, or Chassel or whatever, but in a crisis suit. Oh look, I've got a heavy weapon guy. Well, every other army has that, right? Those are the things that you need that do not exist in 40K. And the reason you would want that is you want some kind of normalization where you go, okay, this unit costs 500 points. It's by itself, and it puts out 20 strength 7 shots. All right, cool. I get it. 20 strength 7 shots, let's go 4. All right. These 5 units, these 5 over here, also put out, say, 15, or sorry, 5 times 4 would be 20. So sorry. So the other one is 30. We'll just say the big guy's 30. They put their resilience is they've got tons of fire warriors for you to shoot at. Okay. And they also have crisis suits with, 2 missile pods each. So they have 4 shots. But let's go 3. Whatever. You can assign the guy, pods. And as part of that unit, sure, the rest of the unit's infantry. He's still relentless. The marker lights he's with are relentless. So you have a different kind of resilience, right? The MSU resilience. Little cheap guys, yeah, they can get shot to pieces. It's like, go ahead. Shoot them to pieces. Do whatever you want. But they get an upgrade that gives them the ability to fight against that big thing, right? That doesn't exist in the game. What if you give them a devilfish? Well, the devilfish has fucking strength 5. That's all it has. Forge World is like, here, have a whole bunch of turrets. And Games Workshop, which owns Forge World, says, oh, well, we're not going to bother with that. We don't care that there's all these different turret options for Tau. Really? Like, you're not going to do anything with that? No. We're not going to use that at all. We don't want people to buy Devilfish. It's like, why not? Don't you want people to buy your stuff? That's where the lie comes in. They're not a model company. They're a rules company. They use the rules to get you to buy the models that they want to sell you, because they feel that if you buy one model today, like if you're going to buy something for your army to make your army good, well, you have to buy the $150 model. That drives players out of the game because there's a lot of players who are younger and don't have that kind of money. They don't want to drop $150. They want to spend $50 a month. Game stores are happy with people who come in and they spend $50 a month. You get 1,000 of those people to come into your store. You're making bank. Okay, you're making good money as a game store. You're not gonna get 1,000 people, but if you get a couple hundred people or 300 people to do that, that's still you're making money. The person running the store can make a living. The corporation can leech enough money out of that store. After they pay the person, they can still leech enough money to make money from that store. Okay. Without those options, where are you at? What can you do with a Tau army against Eldar Space Marines, right? That's not fun if you lose because there's no way for you to deal with what a particular army has. And Games Workshop keeps trying to just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks, and it doesn't work, right? Um, so that's and that's a way that you can um, invite people to invest in your game because they know you might be the 80th percentile unit, okay? But then you might also cost 80%. Like if you're only 80% as effective as the top tier unit, then oh yeah, you only cost 80% of what the top unit does, right? So let's say you can have some crazy fire warrior horde. You got 36 fire warriors. They can shoot at whatever they want, and then you have crisis suits, and they're all able to shoot at anything else, as long as it's a vehicle or a monstrous creature, gargantuan creature, or a titan, right? Super heavy, or a flyer. Let's say that. Okay. So all the big things, all the threats, you're allowed to just shoot it. Okay. Just say I don't need to have a fucking item. I don't need to do anything. I can just shoot that because it's big. If I want to have my fireworks shoot at another infantry unit, aside from, and then have my crisis units fire at a different one, oh, I need to have the item for that because I can't do that. I had to put all my shots into that, and that'd be totally overkill, right? Because you got 36 fire warriors and 10 crisis suits. You probably don't need to do that to another infantry unit unless it's like one of yours. But then that would be okay because if somebody else has the same thing you do, you understand how it works. They understand how yours works. You know what to do. Um, don't be in range of the crisis suits. Oh, too late. Range is an issue in 40k. Nothing I say will change that. That's just something they got to fix. Um, so if you have something that at 100% does 20 shots and is effective against everything, then you should also have something that 80% of that capability, that 80% running back, 80th percentile running back is about 80% of as effective, has about 80% of the effectiveness of the top tier guy, right? That's not what Games Workshop done. Instead, those guys go from they were in the 90th percentile, and then in the new way of doing things, oh, they're in the 20th percentile. They're terrible. Um, if you're a model company and I want to play your game, and I know that this happens, why would I buy any model from you ever again? And this is why Games Workshop's sales have gone down and will likely continue to go down. And they think their IP is worth a lot, but honestly, here's what I'm expecting to happen. There's other competitors that exist in the world, okay, and the one that I think that everyone should pay attention to is Disney because they own Star Wars. And if I have my choice between 40k and Star Wars, I'm very likely to spend my money on Star Wars. If they can make a game, now X-Wing's not the game for me. Okay, it reminds me too much of Car Wars from the 80s. It is basically to me Car Wars from the 80s. Either you played that game or you didn't, but you should understand what I'm talking about. It's just like whatever. I get my space game because I'm a Navy guy, so I get my space game from Firestorm Armada, and I enjoy that because it's more naval combat than basically the World War II fighter combat that Star Wars is, because that's what it's always been, right? Um, you know that in space, mass and propulsion actually matter, and Star Destroyers would be zipping around, and X-wings would be tiny and small and very slow. Um, and you just basically just ram through everything because you're bigger, and you have bigger mass. You can go faster, you accelerate faster, you have a higher top speed because you actually have bigger engines that can push you closer to the speed of light. Or, you can believe all the bullshit fluff, and just ignore physics. So either way, I don't care. Um, but if Disney came out with a miniature game, Star Wars has tried and they have failed because they attached the Star Wars IP price to toys. So you go to a GI Joe figure or a Star Wars figure, it's $13.95. It's $4.95 when I was growing up. It's $13.95 now, sometimes more, for a guy and one for a Boba Fett, a Princess Leia, whatever, a Han Solo, and the 8 different Luke Skywalkers wearing different uniforms, right? Those, if Disney wanted to, they could come in and go, we want to have the tabletop experience. We want people to be social. And they could take it entirely away from Games Workshop. Now, do they have a real reason to do it? Well, they're kind of riding a high now where they haven't put out a movie that sucks ass, right? At some point they will. They'll be like, well, this one isn't very good. It's like, all right. Some people may not like the ones that are now, but I can't really go, man, those sucked. There's problems with those movies, but I wouldn't say they sucked. Like Phantom Menace. Like, come on. Terrible. So Disney has an IP that just you don't want to compete against Star Wars. But they would probably do the same thing that Workshop's doing and say, "Oh yeah, you want one guy, that's $15." I'm sorry, but your shit don't stink that much, right? Like you're not worth that much to me because your shit don't stink. Like it's not like that. Your shit stinks. $15 for this piece of crap, like stealth suits. They're terrible. I just laugh at them. I've always laughed at them. It's just like, yeah, come on, move up. Yeah, shoot me. Okay, fall back. All right, I shoot you back. Oh, look, you lose stuff. It's just, they're just bad. Hey, they could be the greatest thing ever. Hey, I have stealth. You can't shoot me. Okay, I guess. Maybe, you know, maybe that's the way they are. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure they're still shit. Because they look like they still have strength 5 guns. So it's kind of like, well, whatever. You're just a space marine with a strong gun and a lower bliss skill, and just yeah, you probably put out the same wounds as a space marine does at 12 inches. Sleepy. So to me, I want to see Games Workshop succeed because I have a bunch of stuff. But if Disney comes in and says, we're going to make a miniature game and it's going to be pre-painted figs, and yes, they'll be different quality. Like they won't have the same detail, but it'll be like, oh look, here's 25 stormtroopers and an ATST, and then you could have a couple AT-ATs, and you could have some X-wings, and they did something even remotely close to the streamlined version of Flames of War that is Team Yankee. They put it into that, man, that would sell like fucking hotcakes. And is there any reason to not go, I want to sell to gamers and geeks, which is what we are. Is there any reason as a game company to not say, I want to sell to them? Now, you use your IP, but is there any reason why they couldn't do that? No. There's absolutely nothing to stop them from doing that. And instead of saying, I want to sell you those 25 stormtroopers for 300 fucking dollars, I want to sell you those 25 stormtroopers for $100. You spend $100 and you get that. You get a couple ATSTs. You get an AT-AT. Look, it's a super heavy. It's some vehicles. They have buildings. I mean, like all these things they could do. And where's Games Workshop? They should have been right at Disney's face saying, we want to make that the future for the Games Workshop. We want your IP. We want to make a miniature game. We're proven in the market. Now, whether anybody will believe that, oh, you're selling it to executives. They're head so far up their own ass that, I mean, between the 3 executives running the place, you don't know where one ends and the next one begins, So, um, they could, um, They could do that. Disney could do it. Anyone with a really good IP could come in and sell stuff for cheap. And you can get this stuff made for cheap. I mean, you've seen China 40K prices. They're pretty cheap. Um, so anyway, if there's no way for people to do that, um, other than like Disney, but that's not true. There's other companies that have an IP that's valuable that they could do that. Um, but they all associate their IP with we need to sell. They think of the figures as a selling instead of thinking of it as the Walmart way, which is to get as much out to as many people as you can, and you make less overall on each figure, but you sell 10 times as many, and you get them in your store, and you get them buying into your stuff, and then the competitors fall away, right? Games Workshop's not doing that. Disney's not doing it. I don't know what to say. Most of the game companies seem to just be fucking asleep. Um, so this is let's talk about this last part, and then I'm gonna just close this and run over to Army Builder. So all the different books, I could not find all the books in any store in the state of Utah. I could not find all the rules. Um, so like the Warzone, the data slates, the White Dwarf stuff, the box sets that have their own formations. And yeah, the ultimate pay to win. I've seen a couple of those, the limited edition data slates with bundles, which is just like, oh, you know. Um, Now I'm gonna skip over this, but this part's important. Is they have some variety, the formations, Imperial Guard. Like how's this? I don't know. I don't understand the difference between this and this. There's almost no limit on what you can take, but like, why would I want to take 120 infantry, 9 Lehman Russes, or 3 Bane Blades? Like, I don't know why I'd want to do that. So, so this one right here, they banned the Titan class models as well as super heavies that can shoot range D, limited close combat. Yes, I'm sure that they clarified rulings. What's the right way to put it? If something is bad, don't make it worse. If something in an army list is good and something else in the army list is bad, so Tau Fire Warriors are at the 30th percentile from the bottom, and what's the name of the fucking thing again? Sorry, the Storm Surge is the top 5%. Why don't you make the Fire Warrior unit? Let's put them the 70 or 80th percentile, functionality-wise, of the absolute best. Not because you want to say this is just as good as that, and say this one puts out 20 shots and this one puts out 20 shots, and they survive different ways, but they're both survival. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, not what I'm saying. I've seen other games where they go, hey, we'll use, they normalize everything in the wrong way. They homogenize it. Oh God, I should stop saying that word. So everything just looks the same and acts the same. Then is there any reason to buy X versus Y when they're functionally identical, right? You can make them functionally identical, but when you make them do the exact same fucking thing, that's bad. That's when players go, I feel like I'm on a railway. I'm on the theme park ride, and no matter how much it twists and turns, I'm going from point A to point B. Right? Or from point A to point B to point A. That's the fancy pants one. Getting the Batman the ride. Go all the way to the end and then come back. Like, okay. You're saying the track only goes out in one direction and doesn't twist around in a loop. Okay, sure. It's still a theme park ride, and I'm taking the rails the way that you want me to take them. And that's not what you want to do. You want to add in the ability for players to make choices and go, this costs 65% of this unit and does about 70% of that unit's damage. Okay, so I can buy that. That's a cool thing. That's not what's available right now. And the ITC did not fix that. Okay. Um, I don't know if Games Workshop actually gives a shit. I couldn't tell you what they're like. I couldn't tell you the thoughts. So, however, I I wonder about um, not necessarily about motivations of people running ITC or frontline gaming or whatever. Um, a lot of times people were genuinely trying to help, and it's like, right. The way you genuinely help is unlike, say, Warseer, which was like, hey, we get to talk to Games Workshop and we get to we get to ask all these rules questions, but they're stupid ass rules questions that are not real fucking rules questions. It's like, that's not a question. That's, basically they were doing like softball, interviews with politicians where you don't throw them any hard balls, no fastballs, no nothing that's hard for them to answer. It's really nice and easy, like late night TV, you know. Um, you go on to the people with somebody that likes you, you show up on their show, they give you easy questions. You might even know what they are before you show up. It's there is nothing that is remotely like that's real reporting about it, you know. So that's what they did. And that's what the big tournaments have done. Okay, is they've either disengaged or just said, "Oh, sure, you don't want to support your game, but we need you to be on our tournament list so we can have the event. And so we'll, whichever way you want us to take care of you, man. I mean, you're stabbing us in the back as we're talking. You're stabbing me in the back, and you won't answer rules questions that we have. You won't explain, like, when's the last time Games Workshop had an actual reporter show up at their fucking door and say, hey, how come Codex Orcs is so shit? You're selling this to kids, right? You want kids to spend their money on this stuff. Oh, and what's with the tits in the demon section? I mean, they don't have that. But can you imagine if someone actually stood up to them and said, hey, your future's pretty dark and sexist, and are you just a bunch of old white guys? Because it sure sounds like it, and they are. Oh, yes, they have a couple of women, but you get my meaning. They're they're just not being asked to actually do their job. Games Workshop's not being asked to do their job, which is produce a competitive and fun game that includes as many people as you can possibly get away with. Okay, so that you can grow your business. I mean, static sales for 10 years? Like, really? That's what you managed to do? Okay. You want to know why nobody's bought Games Workshop? Ding. People want to see the line on the A to Z axis go up, not just kind of. Nobody wants to see a wave action, right? A wave just going across, gentle little wave. No, nobody wants that. Nobody could sell that. Nobody can get investors to go in and say, we should go buy that. You know, they've tried to sell themselves. Nobody wants them because they're proving they don't know what they're doing. You know, or you can't say the market's saturated because X-wing sales and sales of other miniature games are going up. Um, it's kind of like, other games get sold. Other game companies are selling. I'm seeing board games, and this is the funny thing. So I've seen board games that are way funner than Games Workshop games, but have models in them that look pretty good. You know, I'm like, wow, they got some pretty cool models in their their little plastic models. And they don't look like shit. You know, now I'm not going to say that they're awesome. They're not, but they're way better than they used to be. You know, like those little fucking zombie things that were just like, yes, technically that looks like a zombie, but that's all it does. Don't look at it up close. Don't try to paint it. It's so small. There's no detail. These are real figs. You know, they're heroic 28 millimeter, as Games Workshop likes to call it. So, people in the community that don't tell Games Workshop to fuck off and just say, nope, you suck. And instead say, we'll take care of it. It's like, okay, put out a competing product. They didn't do that. Okay, say, these are the rulings that we have for our tournament. And Games Workshop rulings are not allowed at our tournament. See, that's the thing that a lot of people go, what? Like, no. These are the rulings. If any of them mesh Games Workshop rulings, hey, that's cool. But these are the rulings for our tournament. You know, not this is an addendum. No, this is an entire replacement. Games Workshop, you're not allowed to talk. Shh. You're a model company. You don't make rules. Remember? Don't fucking try and answer them. It's too complicated for you. So fuck right off. That is the crux of what I want to get at with explaining this to people, going, you know, if you want to make things better, actually make them better. Don't just try to plug the holes and make the system work when it's obvious it doesn't work. Okay? So anyway, so let's let me switch this over to Army Builder. I don't have anything up for Army Builder. But here, we have Army Builder, right? I just added that just now. So go back and up to the top here. Now I realize I've talked about 90 minutes about a whole bunch of different things. Sorry, I try to focus, but there's so much to just say, right? So let's see if I can figure out if the Warzone whatever is in this, like non-codex materials. Maybe. Don't want to hide that. You can see the Army Builder guys have not updated that in a while. Trial or non-updated for 5th edition source? Like, why don't you guys fix your whatever? Okay, so let's do 1750 and yeah. All right, let's do like this. All right. Farside Enclaves, maybe? Maybe. Let's look up here. I don't see. Well, that's the one that I see that's extra, so. Oh, it says Monka the rules, so I'm going to guess this is it. Way to go, me. I figured it out. All right, so combined arms detachment. I'm not going to click anything else. So let's go to HQ. Commander Dipshit. There he is. He's a warlord. Now he's in the thing. Current roster units within it may need opponents' permission to use. Opponents'? Oh boy. Well, okay. That's not English. Of course, I can't say homogenized without, sounding like a dumbass, so congrats me. Okay, so here we go, battlesuit teams, right? And we'll just go, it's the missile pod. Oh shit, it's 43 points, not 42. Damn, I'm so fired. And I can't do it more, so I just gotta do this. I gotta say this is tedious as shit. I hate these fucking things. Just have it on the fucking line instead of this shit. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And the warnings now are, who cares? Okay. I have no idea if they've got this set up correctly, right? I don't know. I think I've got the Monka crap someplace, but excuse me. All right, maybe that's what I'm supposed to have. No, that's something different. Quarters. Oh. Uh-huh. Okay. Wow. Sporting fire within 12 inches instead of 6 inches. And I realize you can't see the stuff there, but whatever. So obviously I can't have two down blades or can't have the contingent and the detachment. So let's just go elites. And somewhere here, let's see. No. Um, okay. I think that's fine. So do like that. um, now we want to look at our formations. And for me, see, I gotta read this carefully and make sure I'm doing it right. Oh, yeah. So I think I'm doing this wrong, to be honest. No. All right. So it's still that, and then I want formations. So, hmm. No, I gotta look it up. So just be a second. No. Um. Let's see. Uh, Enclaves. Hmm. Weird. That whole the 18 thing is weird. Oh. Okay. So I don't know. Oh. Let's ditch that. Because I went around the state today. I'm sorry, earlier this week, and I was looking for Warzone Monka, and like I'm not paying Games Workshop for it. Like, oh no, I'll pay somebody else, but apparently it doesn't exist. So I don't know if I'm doing this right. Oh, add more troops. Oh, what does it say? Okay. See, I just this is the thing that's so stupid. So let's see. This is strength as user, AP2 melee armor bane. Yeah, whatever. He's still only strength 5, so yeah. But here's the thing, he's 165 points, and he just got a fucking plasma rifle. I don't care about the rest. I really don't. You know, so... Great, he can beat ass on guys. Cool, I guess. I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, alright, I guess. Enjoy your... whatever. So... I gotta admit that this shit is just stupid, especially with the way army builder's set up. I'm like, am I doing this right? I can't tell. And to me, it's like, is that correct? It's like, okay. I don't know why I would want this. So, anyway, this is what happens when you want to talk about rules and you can't find the fucking rules. So, um, but I understand what he's getting at with the whole like, not that, bam. Um, but this. Look, that's 1,320 points. There's not really a whole lot of army there, but here's what I want to compare against. So, I want a marker drone for every guy, right? So every guy's gonna have a marker drone. And then that'll be my Chasve. Let's look in to see what they got. There we go. I have a drone controller. I have no idea because I'm not looking at it. Let's see. I want to look at Tau. Maybe I don't have it. Nope. I don't think actually, did I not grab the fucking codex? Yeah, I might not have grabbed the codex because I'm a genius. That's why. Yeah. Nope. I do not see it. Let's see, PDF. No. Oh well, I'm a derp. My bad. I thought I grabbed it, but I guess I didn't. Oh, that's all right. It's easily fixed. Oh, yeah. It'll just be a minute. I'm not gonna actually wait, but all right. So, oh yeah. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but let's see. Oh, okay. That's funny. Well, you never realize, like, hey, what's this gonna take? And it's like, oh, it takes like 2 seconds. Yeah, I thought I had it, but so let's see. I want support systems, page 68. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. So you can double up. That's all. 60. Okay. Drone controller. So they use the bear's ballistic skill. Okay. Cool. And use the highest amongst the bearers. All right. Cool. So then, oh, that's the wrong section. Jump to the non-rules fluffy part, the doubling up that Games Workshop does, of all the things that they could do to cut costs, hey, why don't you guys make it so that when I'm actually looking at things, I can figure it the fuck out a lot easier. Oh, well, no, then we wouldn't have a whole book to sell you. Congratulations. You wouldn't. Oh, all right. Crisis team. So one can be upgraded to a Chasve. And anyone can take up to 2. Okay. Now I realize that they support it in Army Builder, right? So hold on a second, let me. Oh, there we go. All right. So I realize that they do that, validation checks. So I'll take a shield drone and a shield drone and a shield drone. Okay. And then I've got one Chasve. So he's skill 3, right? A missile pod, drone controller. Okay. He'll do 2 just for funsies. And 2, and they don't, yeah. Yeah, it's all of them. So anyway, yeah, it's just a marker light. Heavy one doesn't matter because it's relentless. I just put that in there because it has an invulnerable save. That's all. Um, I honestly don't think it really matters. It was a good shot to death, but whatever. Yeah. So this unit costs more than this, right? So yeah, or rather than one of these. Okay. So it has a twin link smart homing missile system. Its bliss skill is 3. The heavy burst cannon is strength 6, AP 4, heavy 8, or it's heavy 12 with an overcharge, right? And then it becomes rending. Like, hey, look at what I can do. I'm just looking to see what the ion accelerator does, and that's yeah, it's a large blast crap. But you can make it ordnance instead of heavy, so you can. But if you do it, then you lose the heavy burst cannon, right? So 12 shots like this, and it's just like wow, it's strength 6 AP 4 rending and gets hot, which is like okay, so what? Um, in oh man, you're rolling all your shots, you kill yourself, it gets hot, right? Um, you don't stop doing your damage because you killed yourself. You resolve the shots, then you die. Um, Even with the 2+, it's unlikely, right? In Hearthstone, um, Yogg Saron would cast endless spells. Even if he killed himself, his proc, his ability, would continue to go off. And he was essentially a win button win condition. You could, of course, easily blow your own shit up and kill yourself, but generally speaking, you played it the right point. The other person was dead, right? That's no longer allowed. The game company Blizzard pulled their head out of their ass and nerfed it. Okay, and basically, if he kills himself, which he often does, ta-da! You win a cookie. He immediately stops casting spells. And the way he would do it is, let's say during the game you cast 12 spells. Whenever you played him, his effect would be he would play 12 spells, right? So target shit randomly and just in general wreak havoc on the board, and often on himself. He wasn't that, he's like a 5/7 or something. He wasn't that strong, and he would die. So when you can do crazy shenanigans, um, where yes, you can shoot stuff and um, sorry, where's this at? Reroll your overcharge, and once per game, fire all of them a second time at different targets. Uh, really? You know, are you kidding me? I hope you're kidding me because that is just that's just nutsy, right? You shouldn't be allowed to do that. without taking a penalty of like, oh, well, I rolled all these dice and I blew myself up doing it, but I still killed you before I died. Like, okay, it's different. Like, the mechanic doesn't scale well. A Space Marine, God bless his heart, he gets 2 plasma shots. He's got a good shot at killing himself there. You know, much better than these things do. But he still gets his plasma shot off and drops the Terminator. Yay, it's worth it, right? Guy costs less. It was a threat. You did what you had to do. But most of the time, you just put 2 really good wounds into people and say, here you go, have a nice day. So, is this something that would make somebody go, boy, I wanna play that. Now remember, you got to spend $200 um, on just the rules. um, the Riptide Battlesuit's $85. Okay, so how many of these does somebody need? Like, oh hey, oh, I'm at my points. And I don't know if this was quite the thing. I mean, you could do it a different way, I'm sure, um, but let's say I don't want that, and I want to have a bigger guy. Okay, and I don't care if it's legal or not. I'm just putting this in for this to go. Oh, well, let's get rid of that, right? And that one, and go back to troops. Take one of him and stick him in there. See what I'm saying? Like, you're getting close now. Like, oh, I could have the storm surges, which are good. They're gargantuan creatures. And yeah. So Pulse Blast Cannon is Strength D, 10 inches, AP1, Heavy 2. 10 to 20 inches is Strength 10, AP3, Heavy 2 Blast. 20 to 30 inches is Strength 9, AP5, Heavy 2, Large Blast. Blast slow the game down. Okay. Precision shots, where you're allocating your shooting into sergeants or whatever, and say, no, I want you to put the wound instead of on a regular guy like you allocated, I want you to allocate it to your sergeant. Okay. Those should just be, they do something like negate a cover bonus, and that's it, right? Or you get +1 to your strength if you roll a hit on, like, if you like 33% of the time you roll a hit, ta-da, you get a bonus, right? And the blast could be like an anti-tank thing. If the blast, if you hit with the blast, you just put it down and go, okay, I hit. Do whatever you want, but you just go, I hit that with the blast, so I get a bonus, whatever it might be, +1 to your strength, or -1 to the enemy save. I mean, whatever. You could do it all kinds of ways, and it gives you a chance to add a little bit of randomness in, which normally is okay in smaller amounts. But all the dice that you roll, that you'd have to roll for this shit, how is that good, right? And the pulse driver cannon is just 15 points more, strength 10, AP2, ordnance 1. But look, I can have a burst cannon, or this silly shit that ignores cover, large blast, twin linked. It's like, really? That's what you can do? Like, why would that be a good thing? But look at all of the stuff that it comes with. Like, this really is just I'm firing this to make you sad face. Okay, that's really what the pulse blast cannon does. but it also has the Twin Link Smart Home Missile System, a Twin Link Flamer, right, which you can replace with the burst cannon. It's got the destroyer missiles, which are just here you go. And then this fucking thing, the cluster rocket system, right? Strength 5, AP 5, 48-inch range, no big deal. Heavy 46. Oh yeah. So let's just say there's 12 strength 5 shots. There's 4 more strength 5 shots. Oh look, it's 4 more strength 5 shots. How much do you want to slow the game down? Oh look, I took the twin linked air bursting fragmenter and I ran at you with my ability to run and shoot. Because I can. Not because of this, but because of the ability of this army. Okay. And I'm 12 inches away from you. So I will fire my pulse blast cannon, heavy tube blast. I'll then fire this one, which is a large blast, right? I'm just trying to slow things down as much as possible. Then I'll also fire my 4 destroyer missiles and my cluster rocket system, right? My twin link smart missile, which is another ignores cover, but it's twin link, so I have to roll it separate. And then this, and it's just like, oh, I missed with the large blast. Well, it's twin linked, so I'll re-roll my hit. Really? I mean, or whatever the fuck they decided to make that stupid ability do. I'm only assuming that's what it does, and I'm not even going to look at the. Nah, I should look just to be safe. I got the codex open anyway, so yeah. And you can only have one, right? So I can only put that on one guy. I can't put it on this guy. Hopefully it'll throw an error saying you can't do that. No. Maybe I read that wrong. Nope. Oh, the Riptide battlesuit. Just so goofy. No. Ah, brother. Where's the end of that silly ass section they got there? Yeah, so there's the pilot, the broadside, the Riptide. Yeah, okay. Crisis Enforcer battlesuit? I don't even know what that is. A bigger crisis suit, slightly bigger? I mean, I don't know. I don't care. So I don't see anything that says it's not that, so I'm just going to assume that that's what that is. So how is it a good thing? Here, we'll stick that in there. This silliness, whatever. Stealth drones. But you have 2 of these fucking guys, right? And are they as good as that? No, probably not. But where Mark said you could stick a unit into this formation, you could have another, like you'd have a single storm surge. Okay. So I'm assuming you have to actually use the retribution cadre, but I don't care to go through it. Mostly I just want to look at the things and go, So 5 wounds, 2 plus 5 plus. This one is 8 wounds, toughness 6. A 3 plus save. Okay. And it just comes with feel no pain. It's like, hey, I think that's the 5 up. So I don't look at these and together go, man, that's cool. Because even with not spending a whole lot of points, because obviously you don't have to spend a lot of points, right? I still have 3 Riptides. I have 2 Storm Surges. Like, it's basically I'm just switching my points around to have different stuff. How is that, like, it's big GoBots. That's what it is. It's nothing else. And if I wanted to fucking take, where is he at? Huh. Okay. Take his ass and you put him in with Farsight's council of bullshit, you know, um, or just a big crisis battle suit unit, or heavy battle suit, or whatever. Um, it's -1 toughness. So it's something that's tough, like that, becomes toughness 5. So all of a sudden you're wounding it on 2s. Oh, well, that's not good. Especially if you have some other way to boost your shit up, like, an ethereal that has the this one, the invocation of the elements, the different abilities you can use. Basically, there's just spells, but they're not calling them spells. So they're going. That guy brings a glass of water, and Watercast is really excited to see that glass of water. They're very thankful to their priesthood guys, and man, they diplomacy really hard. I think that's what Watercast is. Anyway, so these guys, they don't have any weapons. They're just like, hey, look, I have no weapons. There you go. This is now 53 points. Are you saying that is 1/3 of a Riptide? Um, I don't think so. It's a jetpack monster creature. It's it's very unlikely it's going to suddenly go, I'm going to run away, right? Because there's only one fucking guy. There's one goddamn guy. I don't know if monstrous creatures are fearless. I haven't looked to double check. Doesn't matter. There's one guy. There's nobody else. I guess you could go, I also want the shielded, this stupid shit, right? So you can go, oh yeah, I've also got 2 more shots. And then the Riptide, give him a drone controller. So it fires at, let's skill 3. I don't know why. I don't know why you would do that. You just take the shield generator guy to go, I have a 4+ invulnerable on this guy, and he'll take it. You're probably going to just get shot up. So who wants to say, like, oh, this unit has issues with running away? Because they do, right? So multi-tracker lets you fire 1 more. So you can't take 3. Well, I mean, I guess you could, but you're only going to fire 3. Or fire 2, even if you take 3. So the drones are not really cheap. I mean, they're cheaper, but they're not really cheap. Are you saying that this unit, so it has 12 shots at Bliss Skill 3, Strength 7, AP 4, right? Because it's Assault 2, 2 each, so 4 times 3. Are you saying they're the same as this? Like, really? But what if you have Market Light support somewhere, right? And I'm assuming the better army is the one that actually just has 1 Storm Surge attached to whatever stupid ass formation you're supposed to have. It doesn't really matter. Like, I get it. I'm just not going to go dig up the rules and figure out which fucking way do I got to do this. Like, I don't care. So you have Marker Light support, and you can sit there and Marker Light things to make these Bliss Skill 5. So you can spend 2 here or 2 here. Uh-oh, it's a unit. This unit's getting buffed for 2 tokens. Or you have 2 of these, and all of a sudden this falls by the wayside, right? You have your 200 point spin and Marker Light guys. They do their bit. And they mark a unit for destruction, and then they mark another one. You have a couple of them, and they just need two marker lights to go up. Well, what if you have this guy is not here? You have this guy all in this unit. So now they're bliss skill 5. Bliss skill 5 with essentially just a whole bunch of death coming your way. How is that? This is a lot of shots, right? So there's 12 of those. 12 of that just seems silly. But, and then you Nova charge everything, and then you're able to target another unit. So Strength 6 rending will deal with everything. Heavy 12 and Bliss skill 5. It's like, really? I get 11 hits? 10 hits, sorry. Whatever you might get. 9, 10, 11, 12. Statistically, it's 10, right? I think. It's kind of late. It's very late, actually. But anyway, so you have the heavy burst cannon, and you only need 2 marker light hits on 2 different units to be able to fire all of this with the Nova charge at first one, then the other. And it's stupid that you can do that. That you can go in and go, here's 36 fucking shots, strength 6 rending, and just point at 2 different units and delete them. That's stupid. I haven't even looked at the other options. I haven't even looked at everything because the rules as a coherent whole do not exist. They just don't. The rules don't exist as a coherent whole. Hold on. So without a coherent whole, it's really hard to figure out, like, God, where the fuck are we? I know people who are just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how to play 40K. And I own stuff in it, and I don't know how to play the Eldar because they have stuff that I don't own because I don't own Eldar, and I'm not going to buy a rule supplement so I can figure out how he's fucking me. I look on his tablet like, oh, that's nice. So I could put more points in and do more stuff, but this unit is not inherently good. This is a Devastator squad of missiles. Takes that out, right? That's the theory anyway. Takes it out or forces a morale check, whatever. This, oh my god, they just annihilate those crisis suits. They don't even give a shit. They're just like, I want to fire everything at you, and you're gonna die. And that's what a heavy burst cannon does. Heavy 12 rending. Like, come on. And that slows the game down because you're firing 120 shots. It's just silly. So anyway, I need to go to bed. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. Wow. But I see the all I see is big robots. That's all I see. And if you have, say, 6 of these and a regular cadre with a storm surge, it's not that it's less expensive than if you were buying a devilfish and a fire warrior team, right? It's that the Riptide is so much more bang for your buck than the first one is. I'll just verify that real quick. So let's see. Team price and devilfish price. Just see what they are. Okay. So the devilfish is $38. And the Fire Warriors Breacher team, we'll just go with that. Sure, I don't care. Is $50. what the fuck am I supposed to say to that? You know, you know that's shit, right? Here's a breacher team. Here's a tactical support turret, which is just some. Um, it's like a heavy weapon thing. You got to stand next to it and have a guy shoot it, I guess. Okay, comes give it a missile pod. Okay, cool. And let's make it a better squad, right? And give it that and that. Because in this army, I think everybody's got to have that. Maybe you don't, but I'm pretty sure with Farsight. Yeah, that's a thing. So I could do that. Be like, I've got a marker light. I don't know why the hell that's available to make him a warlord, but whatever. And then 2 gun drones. Okay. And then the devilfish. Have a smart missile system. Have a nice day. Okay. So monetarily, it's the same price. This costs more. Like, really? That's a good thing? Wow. Um, and talk about sorry, pay to win. Gotta find it. That's the guy's special bullshit. The 8. That's his special command team thing. Um, this one. You just sink your points into it, and I'm not saying it's great. It's not, but you can bring this along. Maybe make that legal. You can just fly off with 4 piranhas every turn. You don't kill the whole fucking unit. So it's just like, nope, you don't kill me. You get free repair and replacement. Just like, what? What? This is the drawback of the formation system, is that's the base cost of the model. You don't pay for anything. You're just like, if you pay enough money, you get to repair and replace yourself every fucking turn. Okay, it's stupid. It's stupid to do that. Unless there's like a compelling reason to go, you can only take this, and yeah, it's awesome, but there's something in the rules that totally fucks you. Like, oh, you come on from reserves every turn. Like, it's not like the way that you could balance it is you go, it's not, it's you must have a model within 6 inches of a table edge at the end of your movement phase. Um, every turn you must, and they must be removed at the end of the turn unless they entered play this turn. Okay, so you're only going to get them for 2 or 3 turns, right? But when you only turn 1 they won't show up, turn 2 they show up, turn 4 they show up, because turn 3 they were on the board and they're pinned to the board edge. They can extend in, but they're still pinned to it, and then they have to get the fuck out, right? So you can move them and do whatever you want, and then they leave, and then they come back and they're all alive. And maybe people will ignore them, maybe they won't. I don't know, but that's something that people don't go, oh yeah, I gotta deal with that right now, because after all, it's kind of smallish, and I don't know how many points you want to put in, but what if you put a whole bunch in? It's still not as good as a Riptide. You see what I'm saying? Like, this, even with this bullshit, is, and this leads to power creep. And this doesn't make Tau good. It just means internally balanced. It's not. This is not internally balanced at all. Like, if you're just looking inside from page 6 to page 70 and you look at the different things that are available, this is not good. This is not a good unit compared to just having the Riptides. It's a flexible unit. It might let you do other things. It might deal with other things a little bit better. You don't have to fucking like somebody's got a Land Raider or a Baneblade. You just bring that on and just marker light it and then blow it the fuck up because you can just say, you know what, everybody in the Piranhas is going to have a fusion blaster, which is death to high value vehicles. Okay, and here's the thing. Okay, maybe I'm wrong in how I'm reading this, but I've read these rules. Um, all the surviving models from a unit. These are open topped. You can basically sit there and drop these shitty ass gun drones, right? You can drop them off. You come on from reserve, whatever. Drop them off. They're open top vehicles, and then you can shoot and assault something, and or just shoot something, and it's different from what you're shooting at. So you come on, you are going to kill something within 15 inches of the board edge. So you come in 6, right? Or no, you come in 12, and then you have a 9-inch range to get your melt bonus. Sleepy, right? It's so obviously good, and then you mark it like that, and that's that, right? But it also has the rearm and refuel, right? Drones and seeker missiles replaced, so I can suicide the drones out, and I can have a seeker missile on each one for more fun, and then I fly them off, and that's all I got to do is so I can go wherever I want and then come back on the next turn, come back on, and I got one fucking piranha left. I just zoom him anywhere. Just go, I want to zoom this guy, move fast. 24-inch move, bam. Well, 24-inch move is you're within 6 inches of the board edge somewhere. And then you fly off, leave the 3 burning wrecks, and get 3 more. Or put more points into it. Things like that become very abusable very fast. It still doesn't make it as good as a Riptide or as good as the Storm Surge, but it's definitely better than just having these guys as troops, where they have to have a bonding knife ritual and you have to pay for it. And so I was right. It's actually 42 points for the standard. Like, here you go, bam. Yeah, like with the target lock. So you can split fire and go, these 2 go here, these 2 go here, these 2 go here. Min-maxing as much as you could back in the day. But anyway, you have to buy this, so they're 42 points, not 43 base. They're 43 base on this because you have to have the bond and knife ritual, which is kind of like, all right. Yeah. So whatever bullshit from fantasy, which they brought across to 40k. Who cares? Anyway, this team useless. I don't care what it has. I don't care what you do. It's got the fucking support turret. It's got this stupid ass piece of shit. This guy goes, I got a marker light. Okay. And look, M grenades, so you can pretend to kill stuff. So they should automatically give him them. Yeah. Nowhere is this where you go, man, that's awesome. And yeah, I know you need to support drone units so you can have marker lights, but that's not the point. The point isn't to make a list. The point is to go through and go, if these are the only options that you have, why is there all this other stuff? Why? Like, let's just look at this. Pathfinders, Pathfinders, Pathfinders. Stealth. So it's probably still 1 in 3. Who knows? Maybe they said, no, anybody can do it. See, did I get rid of those errors? Yeah. Combine saturation, move keys. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Everybody's in there. I'm spending lots of points I don't have. But this, what the fuck? Even without that, burst cannon, strength 5, assault 4. And these guys are bliss skill 3. So they need the support of the Pathfinder teams. How is this good? This fucking thing is just by itself is 375 points. And you get a piranha, a couple of stealth battlesuit teams. It is MSU that has its own strength. I get it. But seriously, if the other guy's got 6 Riptides, that means he can annihilate 12 of your units on turn 1. So that's not good, right? But yet somehow somebody thinks it is. And I can look at the Riptide and I can do math, target lock. So it would be a 2-man team, right? With a target lock. Not a target lock, because he doesn't need it. For 5 points, you can go, he'll shoot something else. Then you do your other shit. And you go, you shoot at something else. It's like, really? That is OP. And Games Workshop wants to sell new models. But you put out a new model and you make it the same power as something else. Okay. And they have obviously not done that. Like, not even fucking close. Even with free shit, it's... First of all, that's a bad idea. Because eventually you're going to add something that breaks the game even further. Oh, I just get a super Death Star unit for free, but it only lasts 1 turn. I summoned it as a demon player. Okay. Congratulations. You get that. But at no point can I sit there and go, yeah, this is a Devilfish and the Breacher team is worth bringing. It's like, no. Like, Warmark said he hasn't seen a Devilfish in who knows how long. You can make a Devilfish worth a shit with a gun on it. I'm not saying it's going to be good. Obviously, Riptide firing at it is going to be death, right? But that's not what people may not want to play with big robots, and that's it. And just a handful of other stuff just to be like pretend to play the mission. Well, my mission is to take an objective. Okay, all my scoring troops are sitting right here. I hope I get it. That's not a fun game either, right? So you restrict the choices, and then it's still not enough, even if you spend that money to auto win. Eldar and Space Marines beat it. That makes you kind of sad, you know. But it is what it is. So I don't know what I'm going to do to try and make some kind of improvement here, but the next time I do one of these, hopefully I'll have had time to sit down and actually look at all the bullshit rules, figure out all the bullshit, and then at that point be able to make something that's actually coherent as a list and is different in some way or has a meaning behind it that is not just, well, I bought the latest in Grace from Games Workshop and I'm at power level 2. I'm at that sweet 80 percentile point. Except Eldar and Space Marines are at the 90th percentile. Damn. And the big model Eldar, yeah, those are the 100 percenters. That army is the 100% army. Okay. Or, MSU Space Marines with fucking 12 grav cannon shit. That was also 100, the 100 percentile. So, Anyway, yeah. So I think I've covered a bunch of stuff, and let me know what you think. I left his original comments in the post below, so you can read through or read along if you want to. Aside from the time I had it open, but you can refer back to it or whatever. In any case, thanks, and I will see you guys later. Bye.